Well, welcome everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. And we'd like to welcome you here today. I'm going to share my screen a little bit and tell you, well, first of all, let me tell you a little bit about Zoom. If you've been under a rock for the past 4 years and don't know how to work your Zoom, I'm just going to go over super quickly. We will be using the chat function. So if you don't have that up already, please pull that up and you'll find that on your dashboard. Typically your dashboard by default is set at the bottom of your screen. So if you just hover your mouse over it, it'll come up. And if you're not getting the option to see the chat function, you just hit more and that will be available to you. You can also welcome to see who the other participants are in this meeting. If you'd like to ask a question, we have a small group today, so just go ahead and blurt it out and Gabby will stop and she'll address your question or thought. And then you don't have to wait for an invitation. You're always welcome to join in. The other option is to put your question in or your thought or your response in the chat and Gabby will get to it, I'm sure. Gabby also has a document for us, so she'll be putting that back up again in just a moment. And then if you're not getting a word in edgewise, we're not seeing your question, you are welcome to put your hand up and we'll see that as well. And Juan, thank you for joining us today. I'm going to share really quick. Let's see, I'm going to share my screen. There we go. I'm going to share really quick a few bits of information about our website. And that is not showing the proper page. Hold on just a moment. I'll try again. Fantastic. Well, I'm going to share a little bit about us. We are Message Mindset. That's Gabby and I and two other trainers, Monique Thompson and Kristen Robinson. And we came together realizing that we needed to, we really wanted to share more about interpretive concepts, understandings, and between the four of us, we really had this wealth of knowledge that we wanted to share. And we found out that if we are banding together, we're actually accomplishing more, which was really, really helpful to us rather than working as silos. We're all independent trainers and came together and met through being interpretive trainers for the National Association for Interpretation. So together we created this amazing website, and Gabby has really been the genius behind this beautiful website that we've created. So hopefully you'll check us out. There's a few things I want to point out to you on this website is, of course, our main page has some wonderful pictures of what interpretation is. You're here because you probably know what interpretation is, but we have a very hard time explaining that to others sometimes, right? We might use the word tour guides, docents, or even content creators. The nice thing about interpretation is it's in many, many different areas. In fact, if you communicate, you're an interpreter is really what we are. So we address all those different ways of helping people to create the programs or connect audiences to their resource, whatever if that happens to be in nature, culture, history, or something completely different. So on our website, we have a few wonderful pages here. One is our learning hub, which is we have some options for I want to make sure I have the right page up. I don't, but that's okay. We're enjoying this website. So I'm going to point out a few pages on our website. One is our main thing is our learning hub. So this is one of the main reasons we got together was to share more learning resources with other interpreters out there. And then we also have, this is how you're here today, are some live web events, particularly our Skills Boost Clinic. We've been getting a wonderful response from these Skills Boost clinics monthly. So this is the one we're at right now, and this is wonderful with Gabby. We're so excited to be learning about this. We've also got the next month. I wanted to tell you a little bit about it because that one's going to be mine. I'm going to be talking about being personable while using virtual interpretation. So if you're doing Facebook Lives, Zoom meetings and webinars, and pre-recorded videos that end up on YouTube, or might be even played at the amphitheater or the info center or nature center at your location. So that's what we'll be talking about. So thank you so much again for joining us. I'm going to stop my share there and return. Here's that link so that you can visit us as well. And with all that, I get the honor of introducing you. I think all of you probably know Gabby personally or have been on a webinar with Gabby before. Just amazing stuff. This first time I get to hear her speak about interpretation. I'm really excited about that. We have met many, many times, Gabby and I, on the Trainers Network, and I always learn something from Gabby. So I'm really excited about learning from this. Even though I teach interpretation myself, I learn something every time I take one of these webinars. And so I'm really looking forward to learning about purpose-built programs. And Gabby, turn it over to you. Thank you.
You're so sweet. I like when I hear like they're talking about me and I'm like, no, that's not possible. Well, thank you for being here. And then we're going to be recording all of these sessions. And of course, for those who could not make it today, it's okay. We're going to have these sessions soon available for you to go and take a look and keep learning all of these amazing skills. Well, and today we're talking about something that it is very important. It is very important because when we're thinking about why we're doing what we're doing, why I'm an interpreter, is it really valuable? Is it important for the world today and the kind of situations and circumstances all around us? And me, I'm doing all of these experiences, this job. So when we think about that, we think about something important is our purpose. And I think that it's not always easy to get to that point and think, what is the purpose? What is the reason? Because that is what a purpose is the reason why we're doing what we're doing, why we're thinking what we're thinking. And that is very, very shocking sometimes, especially when you get to a certain age. And I'm not saying that we're old because we're not. Okay. I mean, 40s are the new 20s. So we're not. And then we are like, why, what's happening? What's this? And every time we're facing different situations that we're not probably even ready for. So then we have to decide what to do. But then it's important to also think about why. But all of the things that we face, all of the things that happens, we think, it happens for a reason. And sometimes we don't know that reason. So, okay, it happens for a reason, but please somebody tell me why. What is that reason? And that is hard. That is hard. And of course, because sometimes we are not confident enough to think about this purpose and reasons, we prefer to not even think about that. He says no, or even start dreaming and thinking that this means something and there is an impact. We prefer to better not think about that. It's only me. It's me dreaming. But actually, is it that way? Why do we hesitate? Why we don't think about what I'm planning of doing has a reason? Hey. So, well, the same for I'm just saying hi for the friends that are connecting from everywhere. Thanks to being here. We're talking about this purpose, and then how they've been sometimes thinking about what's the purpose of life. We're going to that way of thinking. So, but the same for our work. When we think about the work that we're doing is the same. And sometimes as an interpreters, we don't think that our work is probably valuable. I don't know if that happened to you. If so, you can either show me a I, thumbs up. Have you felt that way? Just wanted to know that what you're doing, what you're doing. Why being an interpreter? There is an impact on that because I mean, sometimes we think, oh, why I'm not a doctor that is probably saving the world, and I'm an interpreter. Have you feel that way? Cesar says yes. Please, if you want to say or comment, feel free. You can open your mics. This is more like a conversation. Remember, that's my style. I like to converse. Yes. So, but you know what? Yes, our work is important. It is true that not everybody sees the same way interpretation is, and nobody sees how important and valuable it is. But we know that every time that we have the chance to be in front of a public and talk and present and share with them our passions and or things that we admire, and we see that revelation, or the people they start to, I get this, and then there's thoughts, and we are like, we made it. We provoke thought. That's what we're looking for, right? And we enjoy that. But does the rest of the organization feels the same way? Do they really value our work? The people are really going to remember. So we know, we all thought about that. But yes, today I'm here to tell you, yes, it is important. And I would like to, that you start to see yourself as a brain changers. We're not just interpreters. Really, we're causing some damage there. I know you remember the emotional damage. No, not that one. We're causing some changes there. And I'm telling you this because the studies, the neuroscience studies, and it says that everybody that goes and visits, goes to a place and starts to know and see, and then they open all of these channels of like perceiving all of these beautiful things around us, or not sometimes not so beautiful but different. So, and then we are translating the meanings, or translating nature, culture, interpreting. So then what happens in the people's mind, it's really something, and it starts to create all of these like different roads to memories, short or long-term memories. We are causing an impact. So that's why when we think that everybody has a mind, their own minds, it's true, but we are causing that. We're helping people to really build lasting memories. And that is very important. Many teachers today, many producers, many people, or directors, Hollywood, they would love that we remember, their movies or their science. They want that we think about their achievements. But the same about us. Sometimes we don't value what we do, and we don't think about that we are actually creating or helping people to create lasting memories. So we also have heard that interpretation has, hey Juan, good to see you. You're around Chile. Thank you for showing us a little bit. Okay, so I was saying that I'm going to just mute you in case, but if you want to talk, you can unmute and talk. Okay, I thought you wanted to say something. Okay, good. Oh, good. So I was saying what I was saying. Please help me. Somebody help me here. Memories. Yeah, I'm just testing, see if you're listening. No, just kidding. Okay. So I was saying that yes, we're creating all of these amazing memories, and not everybody is the same. We have to think about that. Not everybody will come to our programs for the same motives and reasons, and we know that. Also, if we're working in a specific site, not every site, organization, or I don't know, protected area, it's creating or thinking about interpretive programs for the same reason. So there is so many things to consider. And this is something that I would like to ask you. And I would like you to help me to know why you are preparing, working, planning, thinking about interpretation, what you're hoping for. If somebody can tell me. I know, it's a kind of a deep question.
Okay, I will start if maybe that will motivate others to join as well.
I know this is not simple. It's not an easy question.
Yeah, it's not easy question. I will try to answer just from one perspective. There are many perspectives, but one of them is so everything that I prepare or we, okay, I will talk in my name, what I prepare for guests, the maybe the main reason or main idea is that they first have some feelings about it, then maybe all these memories, as you said. But actually, all this is about that everything what they will experience, or main things what they will experience, will make sense to them. This is my main goal. That will make the sense to them in the way that is understandable and close and yeah, to them. So in the way that they could understand, not in the way that I would like to do that, in the way that they are capable or at that moment, because they're maybe on on holidays, not really on some deep scientific research of the history or nature, so in the way that they will understand and that will make sense to them.
Right. Somebody has another reason? Because we want to help people find the meanings, make sense.
I have two. I've got the trainer world in which I want to make sure that interpreters enjoy their programs more and their guests enjoy the programs more. Because a lot of our guests are there on their leisure time or their chosen time. So we want to make it enjoyable, but we also want to make sure that the interpreter enjoys what they're doing as well. And then for me, when I'm doing interpretation, I'm not training. I've got I love to travel and I love to share that travel experience, and I'm really jazzed up about it. So I want my interpretation of that experience that I'm sharing to be helpful, relevant, interesting, inspiring, all those things. And a
Yeah,
lot of times those goals are really lofty when or they put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and so then I remind myself, oh, I'm also this trainer that just wants me to enjoy doing this program more.
true. Right. And I think that if we make a, lists of these reasons, sometimes we can just think one thing today and then tomorrow probably a different one. And it's just interesting. But what I was saying is, like, not everybody thinks the same, of course. They're not all coming because of the same reasons, or the organization is not preparing interpretive plans for the same reasons. So they're all different. Because we have heard, interpreters, we have heard, then when they think, what is the interpretation's main purpose or objective or the goal of interpretation is. And there's still, you know, different reasons. And I've heard some people say the final or the purpose of interpretation is to provoke thought, like thinking. Okay, that it can be, yes. Or it is to, it's for conservation or preservation. I don't know, probably my organization is not working towards that. So that is very interesting when we think about that. What it is that purpose, what interpretation, what do we need in interpretive programs? What do we need interpreters? Well, of course, I will let you think about that, because we know there is an answer. But how can we then add that sense of purpose? How can we think that our program has an impact? How can we think about that? And how can we actually build programs based on purpose building programs? How can we do that? What is the first step to think about the purpose of the reasons of this program? So, well, we have heard definitions, and I know you can comment about this. We have heard definitions that before included that interpretation was mission-based. What do you think about that? Is the mission still important? We should consider the mission, or what? Tricky question. Now the definition says purpose. Go ahead, Max.
Depends what's the mission.
That's right.
Right.
You agree, Juan?
Agree, totally agree. Because I think we have personal mission. We have this purpose that you are talking about. That is, it's very important to find it, right? To find this purpose in our life. We are serving, I think, and that is a great purpose. Is to find that you can serve someone that is looking for sometimes a transformation in their lives or something important. Sometimes they even don't know about that, and you can show them like the purpose, and you can show this purpose through the mission. And when we have a mission, first a personal mission, but then we represent the mission of a national park or a local community, and we show them and we inspire them to that mission. I think we are doing a good interpretation.
True, exactly. Yes. All of this, yeah. Somebody else wanted to say something? No? Oh, good. Okay, good. Yes, it's true. When we think about purpose, we think about programs that are crafted to fit a unique story, a unique audience, a unique mission, and unique value. I think that all of these are possibilities that are good. Maybe, yeah, before we heard these words, mission or values, or we hear that, and I think they're valid. Like you said, Juan, perhaps the mission of an organization, it has a mission and is really working towards that mission. But it's true that when we are working as independent, probably in the tourism industry, maybe a mission is not exactly what resonates. But when we think about how can we plan programs thinking about unique audiences, a unique story, that is the reason. And I remember I cannot forget, it was so strong to me, hear the words that if you don't know where you are going, how you know you got there? I mean, yeah, that it was, to me, was like, oh, okay. It's like, okay, I'm just doing the things without any direction. So that was very important. And I think that when we are working and planning all of these programs, we can base our program on a specific reason. We can call it as we prefer. I don't know if you agree with that, but think about that. Then we cannot think about, I call it like passive interpretation, like that it goes nowhere. We have the opportunity. We are in front of many people that they're coming with different interests, and we have that opportunity. Well, let's take it. So also the mission, yes. I had opportunity to talk and interview Tim Merriman, Dr. Tim Merriman. It was a very interesting interview. It's a podcast. Probably, I think that after we can, I don't have the link right here with me. I will share it soon. But when I talked to him, he helped me to see how valuable the objectives and the reasons why he thought about mission. He called it that way, right? But I could see, okay, I got it. And he really was thinking about the work that we're doing and how valuable it is. And the sites, they should even think about this. To value our work even more, right? Instead of just thinking like, oh, it's, and I remember I was working, we're not going to say exactly where and how, and okay, but I was working in a place, and of course I wanted to save the world, and I was working for conservation programs. It was wonderful. And then we had to take people to see, different areas at this particular site, and it was very good. But this was there was an actual program that was attached to a resort, and there was a lot of money. That was very good because the people, they wanted to come and pay for, be at the place and everything. But the thing was that there was the entertainment team. We were like the interpreters that were like bringing the people to see all of the programs that we were like working on, and how do we introduce the animals that were captive, trying to introduce them back to their life with, well, not completely, but okay. And then there was the entertainment team. Those guys were making way more money. And I was like, I cannot understand this. I said, I am saving the world here. Yes, people that knows me, they know that I'm a bit intense sometimes, but it's true. Yeah, I was like, why they're making more money than me? They're not the same, like, studies and all of the things that I have, and the programs and the studies and everything. And then they're like, I mean, I of course the work is very important too. That was my thinking like long time ago, but I was wondering why. So then I could understand that. It's how sometimes the administration of a site, of our organization, they think about us at the work that we're doing. But the thing is that we have to show things of purpose when we built our programs, purpose-built programs. We have to use it to show the value of our work. I think it's a very, very strong tool, because we can say many things, but then we have to prove when we apply this. So that's why in the document that, thank you, Nikki, you already shared with our friends here, we think about purpose-built program planning. A lot of words there, but it's interesting. And we can think about all of these different steps that you see there, like the identification, the program purpose, the program goals. Then we have the SMART objectives, the interpretive objectives, like how we call them. And during the programs, when we're teaching the CIG, the Certified Interpreter Guide program, we teach this. We teach the P of the poetry method based on Tor method, but adds the P for purpose. We go through this and we teach to think about this. Of course, we use the mission of the organization because this is how the program was built. But then we think about that, like I mentioned, for the others that are probably working at their own, or it's not necessarily the mission, but probably, yes, I introduced that and I keep talking about, let's think about values, let's think about the reasons. I call it reasons. Okay, so then we have to think about the mission statement, the program goals, and the SMART objective. You're familiar with SMART objectives? Are you familiar with SMART objectives? Yes. Maybe you remember. I'm going to put it in the chat because SMART are for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. That is what is SMART. So when we think about, here it is, okay. When we think about that, then we are thinking about objectives. But in interpretive, in the CIG program based on this, on poetry and the purpose, we think about what the audience will do, what we want the audience to do, to think, or to feel, and how many. So that's why we built our objectives, thinking of these percentages of people, or how many do we want they react, or they buy, or they cooperate, or they sign for something. So, and that is important to say that when it's specific, we think about, in the examples I said, is specific, because like I said, we're thinking about unique audiences, unique stories. It cannot be applied to whatever. It is important to think about a specific audience, specific everything. So remember that word, being very specific. Also, it would be better to focus on something specific, to have a clear way to measure it, to have a real results, that it can give us a real data. That is one of the reasons why we need to be very specific. After, we need to think about measurement. Measurement means numbers. I'm not a fan of numbers. I don't even know what day is today. So just because it comes with a number, I hate numbers to that level. Hours, dates, don't ask me that. But we have to think about that. How many? So we used to use percentages, 70%, 20%, but not necessarily. We can also think about at least 3 people. I just want 3 people. That's my objectives of my program today. Or you can say, you know what, half of my group, but don't worry. Even if you don't reach the goal, and even if you don't say, not the goal, sorry, the objective, it's okay. It's information. It's not about the program is good or bad, or there is so many things and variants and little things that we have to consider. That is not that is wrong. It's just information. So it's okay. But let's think about that number. But also if it's achievable. Sometimes we have heard about purposes and objectives, and it says, we're thinking about the 80% of the audience will be able to recognize, I don't know, 50 species of birds. Yeah, what? I don't even remember 3. So we think about if it's possible, if it's achievable, and especially for the time that we have, can we really measure it? Is it really possible? Is it possible that I'm going to measure that impact in climate change probably with my program? So we have to really think in how is, if it's really achievable. Then is it relevant? Is it objective? Is it really important to think? But that's why we need to have a clear purpose, or in this case, value or a mission. Why? Because how we know is it relevant? Relevant to what? That's when we get the answer. Of course, it is relevant because it aligns to the program's goals or missions or values, the purpose, the reasons. So that is what it's going to tell us if our objective is relevant. And of course, time bound. Like I said, is it possible to really measure things because public are with us for a certain time and short time, and after they will leave? How can we really consider the time and for how long this is going to cause an impact? That is interesting to think. And that is like a formula. These are the ingredients that we need when we think about an interpretive objective, to think about that way. And I wanted to invite you to do a little exercise because it's very good to say, but not so easy sometimes to put it in practice. And we think about objectives in different terms. We can think about terms of knowledge and appreciation, or the sense of connection. That's the kind of objectives we were looking for, right? And all of these points, it's in the document that Nikki just shared with you. But when we have the objectives clear, it's not only that, we need that indicator. We need that what is going to tell me if you actually am reaching that goal or not. How I know. That's the point. How I know that half of my group is thinking to clean the beach because of the sea turtles program. And I remember Maria Elena Muriel is here with us. That was a very good example that if we have read some of the CIG examples and books from, I don't know, probably like 10 years ago when we started with the program, Maria Muriel had that program, right? Maria Elena, the one we were talking about, that you expected that the people coming on holidays will clean the beach. That's impossible to think, but they did.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Yes, I did. I did have one of my goals was to have some visitors to stay a little longer after my sea turtle program to help me to clean the beach and pick up some of the plastics that were out there. That was one of the goals. When I made that program, I had not only that, but also that if you could not stay a little longer, perhaps you have an extra $1 to donate to make brochures and to produce material to bring our school kids later to come, or to spread around the word that our actions impact severely to the sea turtles, including the plastic bags. And even if you spend all your vacation money, you have not even $1, make me a favor and raise your hands up and tell me how many of you will think about sea turtles when you see plastic bags at home. Hands up, and I could measure my objectives that way.
Awesome.
And it's still working. I mean, I'm still doing that program here.
Great. So
already. Yeah.
really, that's so good. So yeah, so if you never know, sometimes you go on holidays and you end up cleaning, but because there is a purpose. If not, I would never do that, of course. I mean, yes, probably because I'm a good human and I'm gonna, but believe me, I'm not gonna stay hours there to clean. It's just because I know the purpose. It's just for a reason. Yes, Nikki, you wanted to say something.
I'm taking care of sea turtles too. I'm on board with that with that objective for sure.
Right? I know. I've worked for sea turtles too. It was so good. I think it was nice. But that is what he motivates us. That's what he says, okay, I will do that. That sense of purpose. Okay. So let's do like a little exercise that I have for you. And we have a few minutes. It's not going to take long. I'm just going to share with you. Do you have any question about what I am saying?
I have one question.
Go ahead, Max, please. I'm waiting for it.
Maybe a few questions, not just one. If I just go one by one of this, okay, I will not go through all this. Achievable, that's always good to know, because that way you make realistic things. Because if you do some plans that are not achievable, of course, you will just be lost. I totally agree with that. Relevant, yes, we all agree with that, including Freeman Tilden, that he said that things should be relevant.
Yeah.
But I'm much more for example, specific. What is specific? If we agree that all people are different in the world, they're not groups of people. If we agree that all persons have right to be different, so then how you can be specific? Because all people are different. So that means that you should be specific million or 8 billion times. That's one question. So what does it mean specific in that way, if we talk about that people are different? And also measurable. I was always curious how you can measure inspiration of someone. For example, we would like to inspire people. So how you can measure how much you inspired someone? Is it just about this, how much plastic someone will collect from the beach? Does it mean that someone who will not collect the plastic, he was not inspired? Or who will collect 10 plastic bags just because other people will watch that person, so he will collect it and go home? So is he inspired much more? So that was always what I was thinking about, how you can measure inspiration and how you can be specific if all people are different in the world.
Somebody would like to answer that before I said something? Go ahead.
First of all, I would think that inspiration is not a measurable objective, because, yeah, you can say, I'm going to inspire my people, but actually you really, being realistic, you cannot measure whether if you inspire them or not. But that objective, if you want to see it as an objective, could have been the one that if you could not stay to clean the beach, if you could not stay if you could not donate $1 to make products to educate others, then raise your hands up and tell me if you are going to think about the sea turtles when you are back at home and you see plastic bags. Now that you know all the story where your plastic bags go and how they damage, the environment, not only sea turtles, after the program you have heard, then you are inspiring others to, at home, reduce the consumption of plastic bags. That would be a measurable for that inspiration. But actually you cannot measure, because they may tell you at that moment, raise their hands, because they are excited, because they learned, they took awareness at that moment. I'm sorry, but as the time passes by at home, you probably cannot measure if they are making the action actually. So to me, inspiration will be a more broadened goal than an objective, just because we cannot confirm and measure exactly whether if people is doing the action they commit at that moment with you. So that might be an overall goal more than an objective, if that helps.
I think that's why we do this. And remember, we are all with other interpreters and professionals. And of course, this is what it helps us to, just keep thinking about our profession. So it's true. I think measuring inspiration will be maybe subjective, or because how do we know if someone inspired or not? I think that all of these great colleagues that are in the psychology, they might give us a better and clearer answer.
Right. May I say something about it?
Go ahead.
Yeah, because you are talking about
like maybe the approach of Sam Ham, for example, right? He has this zone of tolerance, I think is in English, like the wide. We have 3 zones of tolerance, right? We have like the biggest one, the wider one, and maybe that is the ideal, right? Because we just need to provoke thinking, right? So the more we provoke, the more we inspire, the better in some way, right? So, and he says something like, well, maybe the best way to measure that is just to see how many people is smiling in the room, right? And because you want that. If you are doing that, you are doing great. I think that is something that we want to do. But the problem is when maybe we want to bring them very specific ideas, and we have very specific goals, and we want them to remember something very specific. That sometimes that could be harder to measure. But if we provoke thinking, I think we are doing a great job. If we are inspiring people, we are doing the most important part of our job, I think. And sometimes the way to measure that is the feedback. It's people, asking so many questions. They want to participate. They want to. They are smiling. They want to share this with the world in some way, and you can receive that feedback sometimes very instantly and very soon, sometimes as a guide or as a personal interpreter as well.
Yes, Maria. Okay, let's hear after this. We continue. Okay, Maria Elena.
I see it as goal and objectives. I see them as a race of for 10,000 meters running with ¿cómo se dice estafeta? ¿Cómo se dice? Con relevos.
Yeah, I have no idea now how to say that.
It's a 10,000 400 meters with that race that you need to pass, a tool to another runner, and that runner, how do you call that race?
That little white bar.
Like a relay race. A baton.
Yeah, relay race.
Thank you.
Okay, so I see it that way. The goal is to reach, all of us are gonna meet the 400 meters, race. But every time I pass, one runner pass that turn to the next one, it's an objective. That runner needs to cover, 100 meters in the less amount of time. See? So when you pass it on, and then the other one needs to race also another 100 meters in the fastest time than the rest of the teams, and all together accomplish the goal, which is to win the 400 meters race. So each one will be an objective. Each runner will complete an objective, and the goal will be to win the race of 400 meters. I don't know if that clears it a little bit more or is more confusing. I don't know, but I use that example a lot in Mexico.
No, thank you. Of course, Maria Elena. Of course, it's interesting. And I think, thank you so much for your answers. And Max, I think there are very, very important questions. It's not, we should not just not think about it. We have to think about it. We must think about it. It's very important because we are always talking about emotions and emotional connection and all of it. It is very important. I wish we could have more time to go deep on that. I think the next time, well, we'll have different clinics each month with a very interesting subject, like Nikki is sharing already in the chat. What is the next subject or topic of interest next time? But then for next time, I will be talking about that emotional matters and be a little bit more into that side, like all of that emotions, and because it's very subjective. We have to think about that. Thank you so much for these questions, and then the answers are very important. And I think we should consider it. Yes, I agree. It's not so easy, and we will find a good balance there. That's why we're together. That's what we like to do, to get, and maybe, yeah, I think that all it's valid, because then if we have all of this information, we'll be able to share it after and to really prove our points, because then we can run this little bit of research, let's say. But there is ways. There is ways. The measures that you can, the self-reported measures, for example. Nikki, you talk about the importance last time. Also, you talk about the importance of questioning, and sometimes you can use questions, simple questions as, did anything you experienced today inspire you, for example, and find out, and maybe get 2 or 3 answers. And maybe that is an objective. Maybe you're not measuring the inspiration per se, but you are measuring that at least 3 people mention how they got inspired. And then you can have a little bit of an indicator there. Or did the program spark any new ideas or interest or something? So you can find a way to interact, and also you will have that, like you mentioned, Juan, you know, the smiling, that is what they call the behavior indicator. So I think we should go deeper on that. Thank you so much for all of these questions. Really, I deeply appreciate it. Okay, just I wanted to show you, we're up with the time. Probably we're not going to go too deep into this, but I would just wanted to show you something that it helps me when I'm thinking about these SMART objectives. And probably you can see my screen, and I'm going to, well, I don't see it. Do you see my screen? Do you see it, Nikki? And then you see it's empty, right?
Yeah.
I love it.
If your screen is white, we can see it. Now it's okay.
Okay, good. I don't know why it wasn't there. It should be there. Okay, this is something that it helps me to see and plan SMART objectives. And then you have this specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. And then what do you want to accomplish? How will you know when you have accomplished your goal? Oh, stop.
Sorry, that was me. Please share.
Ah.
I hit the wrong button.
Okay, just have to upload it again. I don't know why it happens like that, but good, I had it here. So the questions, how can the goal be accomplished? Will the goal meet your short and long-term needs? When will the goal be accomplished? So, and what I do is I can have some little sticky notes, right? That I wanted you to just see, for example, and I can write and start thinking about that. Run the 2 meters marathon. I don't really run, that's one thing. No, I'm kidding. I'm just putting something, you know, like, then I can have a visual image, and I can have this brainstorming of ideas that what I would like to accomplish with my program. So when you think about SMART, you can have all of these different questions by the letters. You see the specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. I'm going to stop sharing. This is a good exercise. I think we can probably plan another time, or maybe create a video that you can talk about that and use your examples. For example, the example of Maria Elena, put the questions that you're asking, Max. That's why we wanted to also do these clinics, because together we can moving forward with heritage interpretation, and to really find all of these well, important practices in our work. Well, Our time is up to you. Any questions? Another question. I'm so sorry. We was so interesting in listening to all of you that we passed a little bit of the time. But I just wanted to tell you that I think that purpose is important, and also is not only seeing all of these people getting that beautiful sense of like, wow, I'm doing something good, but also working with different communities around the world and see how our programs somehow has benefit them. It's just, I just have no words for that. And that is thanks of our work as heritage interpreters. Thank you so much for being here today. And if you can just check Message Mindset, we're there as a learning hub, like Nikki was saying. And next month, we will have another interesting discussion. Thank you so much. Back to you, Nikki.
Thank you, Gabby, for that wonderful presentation. That was so interesting. It was very interesting to hear from all of you as well, and good to see you. I'm starting to recognize Gabby's fan club now. So this is that's wonderful stuff. Yes, hopefully you'll come check us out for more Skills Boost clinics and our future offerings. Like Gabby was talking about, just keep little videos that do deep dives. I've already got like a huge list, and I wrote down some more ideas today. So hopefully we'll be putting out that information too. We've got a YouTube channel that Gabby and I started up, and so we'll be adding some content to that as well. As soon as this big push for CIG has gotten, we've got a few more classes to get in before that rate hike. So looking forward to having some other time to do some other projects as well. So pretty interesting stuff. Thank you again for being here. And with that, we are officially closing the program, and I'm sure Gabby and I will be around for a few more minutes if you have any more continued thoughts or questions.